Just want to share some things with you. Do you realize that Yeshua, Jesus, that he died on a Jewish feast day, on Passover, and that he rose from the dead on the Jewish feast of Bikurim, first fruits, and then he poured out his Spirit for the first time on his followers on the Jewish feast of Shavuot, which is Pentecost. It is almost if God is saying and trying to impress on the world that this thing is Jewish. All this stuff is Jewish. The Bible is Jewish. The Savior is Jewish. It was written to the Jewish nation. So he's trying to tell us something we need not forget. But within a few decades, the number of non-Jews who would join the church and the community of believers would far outnumber the Jews, and the Father was laying a foundation and a blueprint that would ensure people never forget that salvation began with the Jews. But they did forget. Christianity, in most of those stories and the movies that we've watched and pretty much everything we've heard about it, bears no resemblance to anything that, or the way it was in the early church. It doesn't resemble it at all. The church changed so much over the centuries that Yeshua, Jesus, was no longer even recognizable as Jewish. The Messiah of Israel, and it was not just his name that changed, but his very nature. They made it seem like Yeshua was against the Jews. Conveniently, they forgot that what he had said, that he had been sent to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. Not only were all of his followers Jewish, he was Jewish himself. Furthermore, according to Jeremiah, the new covenant would be made with the house of Judah and the house of Israel. That's in Jeremiah 31:31. Even baptism, they managed to turn it into something altogether foreign to the Jews. Nor was it ever emphasized, if the church was even aware of it, that all these powerful milestones of Christianity, like his death and resurrection, took place on Jewish holidays. And another thing, why do Christians worship on Sunday when the Sabbath is clearly from Friday evening to Saturday evening? If this all started with the Jews, why would they change the Sabbath? If you do some more study, and that's just a little part out of a book that I thought was really important to read, but if you look back and go back and study, the Jews got to a point where they were not allowed to keep the Sabbath